By 2010, a young man named Josh Temple knew he wouldn't be a famous actor. He had only landed a few minor roles over 5 years, and it was obvious that he needed a new occupation. Being in the golden state of California, he thought, why not give the weed business a shot, and started his own company called Honeycut Labs. Over the next 8 years, the failed actor's business skyrocketed thanks to his creation of a single product that would eventually become one of the most sought after in the entire cannabis black market. However, that product would be responsible for something else. A nationwide pandemic of a severe lung disease that infected over 2,800 teens and killed 68 of them. This is the true story of the counterfeit cart epidemic and how one man sparked a nationwide media frenzy, confused hundreds of doctors, and changed the marijuana industry forever. In April of 2019, everything seemed normal. COVID wasn't around yet, Old Town Road was blasting through everyone's speakers, and this creature was talking to kids through Peppa Pig. But then, in a few hospitals in Illinois and Wisconsin, something strange was happening. Seemingly young, healthy men were being admitted to the ICU with all sorts of symptoms like chest pain, nausea, shortness of breath, and more. Now at first, doctors thought it was just pneumonia and gave them meds for it, but that didn't work. The patients only got worse over the following days, some of which required supplemental oxygen just to keep breathing. And as 200 more teens appeared in ICUs, doctors became baffled. They had no clue what this disease was, how to treat it properly, or what even was causing it in the first place. Everything seemed hopeless, but then they found a lead. It turned out that all of these teens who were becoming sick vaped. Whether it be on THC carts or disposables, or both, it became clear that these devices the patients were chiefing were causing them to become severely ill. Hence, the CDC named this new disease EVALI, or e-cigarette or vaping product use associated lung injury. Now, despite this revelation, they still didn't know the exact cause of EVALI. Was it Juul causing all of this? Puff Bar maybe? Or was it the hot dog water? The CDC wanted to find the answer, so they started investigating. They went case by case, examining the details of every teen situation and their vape of choice, hoping to find patterns. And they eventually did. A good majority of the teens were smoking THC carts, and after running tests on these carts, they found that they contained a plethora of garbage. Countless pesticides and other nasty chemicals kept showing up in the results, making it clear that they should dig deeper into the companies making these carts. But they couldn't, because these companies weren't real. Well, some of them were, but the products the teens used from those companies were black market fakes. Another brand that kept showing up was Dank Vapes, but after digging into them, the CDC found that it wasn't a real company at all. It was a black market brand through and through, with the sole purpose of making these booth carts look legit. It turned out the only pattern between these products was that they were coming from street dealers, who were buying fake packaging online for pennies and selling carts filled with God knows what. Now, this is where you think the story ends, given the CDC hit a dead end. But it doesn't. There actually was another pattern that connected all of these deadly carts together. A pattern that was created by a struggling actor from Los Angeles, California. Josh Temple landed very few gigs between 2005 and 2010. He had done minor roles on shows like Veronica Mars, The X List, and Fashion House, but after a decade of essentially getting nowhere, he knew it was time for a change. By the time Josh was looking for a new industry to work in, California had become a hub for cannabis. Between the vague laws, non-existent regulation, the sheer size of the city, and its massive cannabis market, dispensaries were popping up everywhere, and Josh wanted in. Now, young Josh didn't know a damn thing about growing weed, but there was a new opportunity for him that not many people were capitalizing on: THC cartridges. As the Golden State's cannabis industry grew, so did the market for vape products. They were quickly becoming the hit product to have, thanks to their convenience, odorless smell, and more. This is where Josh set his eyes on. He had dreams of becoming a THC cart kingpin, selling whatever product he could in the space to make some serious dough. And so, between 2011 and 2018, Josh worked in the THC vaping scene, learning all about the industry and scoping out opportunities for him to capitalize on. He eventually found one, and in early 2018, started his own health supplements company called CB. Now wait, health supplements? Now don't get me wrong, there are benefits to smoking pot. but it's no health supplement. Well, the product that Josh created technically was a health supplement, and it's the same product that would eventually contribute to his company's meteoric rise and horrific downfall. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Honeycut Diluting Agent, Josh's flagship product from his company. This was essentially liquid gold to him and the millions of customers he sold it to. Customers who were black market dealers. In simple terms, this product was a cutting agent that you could add to homemade THC carts to not only make them look legit, but also to use less pure THC oil. It had no taste, no smell, and had the exact same look and consistency as THC oil. It also passed something called the bubble test, which is a common way to tell if your cart is boof or not. In the past, most fake carts were cut with things like propylene glycol, making carts look runny and less pure because the bubble in the cart would move when tilted. But Josh's new product didn't change the viscosity of the liquid at all, making the bubble stand still, which in turn convinced users they were smoking pure distillate. Now, there was one secret with Josh's revolutionary offering. It was mostly made of vitamin E acetate. And by most, I mean 95% of it. Over his years in the industry, Josh discovered that vitamin E acetate, a chemical compound usually found in skincare products, was a beautiful substitute for THC oil. And even better, it was dirt cheap. He could buy a liter of raw vitamin E acetate for anywhere between $8.50 to $42.60, repackage it, and mark it up between $1,100 and $13.50 a liter. A 13,000% profit margin. And before you assume people would be crazy enough to buy that, illicit dealers ate it up. They could easily pocket an extra $5,000 in profit on average by stretching their supply of THC oil with Josh's cutting agent. It was a win-win for both parties. Josh's profit margins were through the roof, and street dealers could make thousands in extra profit. And I haven't even touched on the best part of all of this. It was all legal. Well, not the whole selling hot dog OG to teenagers, but the part about Josh's vitamin E concoction. Because vitamin E acetate is considered a health supplement and not a THC product, Josh could sell his stuff online and nationwide to anyone who wanted to buy it. He didn't need any special license or have any regulatory body to comply with. As a matter of fact, anyone could buy pails of this shit online. It just so happened that Josh found a new use for it. Over late 2018 and early 2019, Josh's products sold like crazy. As demand for THC carts skyrocketed across the US, seemingly every illicit dealer wanted to get their hands on as many bottles of Honeycut Diluting Agent as they could. Insiders in the industry describe 440-pound drums of Josh's magical solution moving out from wholesale vape suppliers. And it was consistently sold out across many major e-commerce websites. And on Josh's own website, they detailed how they had more sales in the first 4 months of 2019 than all of 2018, which didn't go unnoticed by others. Copycats of Josh's massively successful product started to spring up everywhere. Uber Thick, Clear Cut, Thick Stretch, and more were all created by other companies trying to steal market share from Josh. But it was too late. Josh's brand was simply too big. He had created one of the fastest selling non-cannabis products the illicit drug market had ever seen, moving untold gallons of vitamin E acetate into the nation's black market. Josh had officially reached his dream position as a THC cart kingpin. He had a golden setup that any scumbag dealer would die for, pushing millions of dollars in product without anyone batting an eye. It seemed as if his empire was untouchable, but by August 2019, that empire would be fully exposed. By the time the chilly fall season was setting in, EVALI cases had peaked, and even worse, the first official death caused by the disease was reported. This was the tipping point. A young man dying from vaping ignited a tidal wave of stories from the media, begging the CDC to get to the bottom of this mysterious infection. Feeling this intense pressure, the CDC kept digging, trying to find that missing pattern among all the products these teens were using. And I think you can guess what they found. Almost every single cart they tested contained vitamin E acetate, which, while safe for ingesting or putting on your face, is poison for your lungs. The CDC found that, when vaporized, the chemical caused shortness of breath, fever, vomiting, and worst of all, lipoid pneumonitis, a rare condition that results from fat particles being inhaled into your lungs. This was the missing pattern. I mean, no wonder doctors had zero clue what disease these kids had. They had never seen anything like it before because no one had ever vaped vitamin E acetate. As news outlets took this information to the masses, Josh could smell blood in the water. He knew something terrible was coming for him, so he acted fast. Like, really fast. On August 23rd, the same day of the first EVALI death, Honeycutt changed its registered corporate address to a random P.O. box. 4 days later, he changed the official ownership of CB to add a person named Ashley Angstad, which turned out to be his girlfriend. 3 days after that, Josh called his wholesalers, ordering a recall of his products and demanding they take his stuff off store shelves. And by September 6, he had completely shut down Honeycutt's website. Now, young Josh thought this would do the trick, but the law still caught up to him. On September 9th, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo announced a subpoena for Honeycutt, forcing Josh to come forward with every single detail on Honeycutt's safety testing, ingredients, sales data, and the quality of his raw materials and final product. Josh was now fucked. He clearly got caught red-handed and had to pay the price for it. But did he? After the subpoena was announced, there wasn't a lick of information I could find about what happened to him. Officials at the New York State Health Department said they had been in contact with Josh, but that was from 2019. Josh and his lawyer refused to speak publicly about the company, which, I get. And it appears Josh may even be on the run, as he no longer lives in his Los Angeles home. Truthfully, we have no idea if Josh faced any consequences, but he for sure did one thing. He caused a national pandemic, hospitalizing over 2,800 young men and women, some of whom had to be put on life support, and killed 68 people. And not only that, he disrupted an entire industry, giving it a horrible reputation of being a killer, when in reality, it was Josh who was the killer the whole time.